Money, Power, and Monetary Regimes by Pavlina Tcherneva. Money Matters. A discussion of the full range of economic possibilities under sovereign monetary regimes is beyond the scope of this paper. We will single out one problem that merits consideration, as it is pervasive, persistent, and pernicious: the problem of unemployment. Nations with different degrees of monetary sovereignty have different capacities to address this problem. But what is frequently overlooked is that unemployment in a market economy is itself a result of current monetary arrangements. Unemployment is a monetary phenomenon. From the point of view of firms, it means that, in the aggregate, expected costs and proceeds do not justify the employment of any more individuals than firms are already employing. This is the effective demand problem identified by Keynes, 1936. Note that effective demand can still be deficient in the sense that profit expectations do not warrant any more hiring. Even in a very strong economy, firms are simply not in the business of providing jobs for all. They can be neither expected nor required to attain and maintain full employment over the long run. That is the job of government, and that is because unemployment is in a certain sense created by government. From the point of view of households, unemployment is evidence of someone wanting but not being able to obtain the currency. Recall that the tax that creates demand for the currency immediately creates unemployment. The population is required to fulfill a non-reciprocal obligation with currency it does not have. The source of that currency is the government. Thus, the private sector provides real goods and services, labor, to the government in exchange for that currency. The tax creates a demand for government-issued money by creating unemployment in that currency, that is, labor which seeks remuneration. It is, therefore, incumbent on the monopoly issuer to provide its currency in a manner that is consistent with the objectives of full employment and price stability. Recall that the government is also responsible for assuring that the currency is sound. Modern currencies are in part valuable because the state keeps them in a constant state of scarcity, as evidenced by mass unemployment. But there is an alternative. The state can provide its currency in a manner that allows people to freely access it, while ensuring some internally stable floor for its value. Mosler, 1997-98. As the monopoly issuer of the currency, the state has the privilege of setting the prices for the goods and services it receives in exchange for the currency. But the state need not set all prices. It is sufficient to fix only one of them, the price of labor, for example, to anchor the value of its currency. Chartists suggest that an ongoing public program that offers employment to anyone ready, willing, and able to work at a base wage can do the job. See the employer of last resort, job guarantee, and buffer stock employment proposals. Such a program will fluctuate countercyclically with the business cycle, expanding as private business hiring declines and shrinking as private sector employment picks up. The base wage will become the nominal anchor that establishes a conversion rate between the currency and labor. While currency values are themselves very complexly determined, they essentially reflect what one can buy with the currency. The hourly wage of the buffer stock program pins down a basic conversion rate between labor and the currency. In other words, say a $10 out per hour wage in the program would anchor the currency in labor power and set the value of the dollar to be equal to 6 minutes of work. If the wage were doubled, then as a benchmark, $1 will exchange for 3 minutes of work, or will erode in value by half. So when the emitter of the currency, the government, sets the exchange rate between the currency and the labor in the countercyclical buffer stock pool, it helps stabilize the value of its currency. For details, see Mosler, 1997 and 98, Ray, 1998, and Tcherneva, 2012. Freely floating, non-convertible currencies today have no equivalent anchors. A full discussion of the program is beyond the scope of this paper. Our aim is merely to point out that, in a world where the currency is a simple public monopoly, 1. Unemployment is evidence that the currency is in short supply. 2. The tax itself creates unemployment by creating private demand for the monopolist's currency. 3. The monopolist has the power to set a conversion rate between its currency and labor hours. 4. The monopolist can provide the currency on an as-needed basis by maintaining the internal anchor. And 5. The buffer stock employment program can be used to create socially useful output, thereby allowing the monopoly currency issuer to fulfill its redistributive functions in a way that serves the public purpose.